Hello, welcome to my behind the scenes portion of my session here with Chloe. We are doing a cloud umbrella theme here. So you saw me choosing the outfit and making of the umbrella. So here's behind the scenes. So basically I have the light bounced around in the scene, and then I have a light under her that's going to illuminate from the top down. I put it inside the umbrella, and I'll kind of show you an image of that. So we're just going to take some pictures here and enjoy. All right. So I'm going to put this one up a little bit. Right there.
And should I hold it from the bottom, or
I think hold it like that. Yeah. And then when you hold it, you have to hold it like really elegantly. Like this hand here has to be really, really kind of dainty and pretty. Like
I got the opposite of dainty.
Yeah, that's okay. So this one's fine. So just like make sure to hold that finger out like that, and then bring the hand just like that. You have to make sure when posing that the hands are very fluid and dainty, kind of like ballet hands, especially for fine art. So yeah, oh, right there, that's good. Okay, perfect.
And then is my hair in the I still feel like my hair's in front. Yeah, there we go.
Your hair's in front, but the umbrellas, the
That's
cloud,
yeah.
you have the cloud there, so that's perfect. Okay, I just want really like serious. And I'm just going to test the light. Perfect. I'm going to have you take a step back towards the background. Perfect. I have a light under here that I'm going to actually make brighter, because I want that light a little bit brighter than the ambient light that I have going on here. And I have a giant light right here that is bouncing off the ceiling to give like an overall kind of, I want kind of like a really even kind of overcast looking light. All right, sweetie. Okay, that's perfect. Let me take a look. Perfect. I am going to bring the umbrella down, and I'll just tell you when to stop right there. A little bit more, and then have your eyes cut right there, right there. Perfect. I'm gonna have you bring your chin a little bit this way, right like that. Perfect. Bring the umbrella down just a little bit. I'm just covering her eyes just so I have her face in there. And the little strings on the umbrella, I'm in the cloud strings I can get rid of easily in Photoshop. And like this one had that dark one. These are my little clouds. Trying to get them to stop moving.
That's neon.
No, that's all good. Okay, sweetie. Let's I think it's harder to pose standing still than it is to move, isn't it?
I think the front right there. Yeah, there we go.
So I actually steamed this with a steamer, and it really took out all the wrinkles and made it poofier and softer. So make sure you have a steamer, because that is like one of the most important things that I have in my studio. Steam the backgrounds. Oh, here we go. You steam the clothes. There we go. Okay, bring elbows out. Yeah, like that. Perfect. Perfect. And then that's perfect. Okay. And then that finger. Perfect. Good. All right. So bring your chin up and the umbrella down. Right there. Good. Don't move. I'm going to bring this one. Now, like yesterday, when I did that other video, I you saw that I made these so I can change their height and everything, because it's really important to be able to manipulate that. And I think they have been perfect. All right. I thought I had
I think I
5.
just
Oh, it's
slid
behind
down.
you again.
Yep.
That's okay. It can be behind you. I think we're good. All right. Perfect. Okay, chin up and then umbrella down just a tad, right? A little bit more. Right there. Perfect. And I have the light on her in here a little bit brighter. Let's see if I have it all the way up. A little bit brighter than my main light because I want her more illuminated. So, okay, so now what I'm going to do is do the setup to have the clouds from the outside. So I'm going to put a boom arm up, and you saw how I made those clouds like on little cardboard swings. So we're going to get that set up and catch you in a bit. Okay, so here what I did was hung the other clouds up off of I can tip this a little bit, off a boom arm. And I think it would be good to have 2 boom arms so you could have some clouds closer than others, but I just have the one for now. The thing you have to be really careful is that those little swing things, those cardboard things, when you have the clouds on it, it has to be very even. So, so the weight doesn't shift. So we might see a couple clouds get dumped, but that's all right. We got beautiful Chloe back. So this is going to be, you have to be scrunched down a little bit till you get the umbrella under you. Okay. And okay, so stand up. I'm gonna use
up.
yeah, because I'm gonna
Perfect.
cover your.
Did I mess up the flooring?
That's okay. I can. All right. Perfect. Yeah. Pull the wrinkles out of the floor. So I have the Fresco Cream backdrop. It's just this very beautiful modeled kind of a creamy look. This is from my Mentor collection over at Background Town. And then on the floor, I'm using another one that's just like a kind of a similar color. And then in Photoshop, I will, oh, my cloud is melting. In Photoshop, I will kind of adjust the colors. So I love that clouds are like different shapes and stuff, like in a wispy. So, so these don't have to be perfect. All right. Okay. I'm going to pull this whole thing forward. So when I'm going to have you step with the clouds. Oh, see, there goes my cloud. That's okay. I'll add that on. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, step forward, 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 right there. Okay, perfect. Basically, what I'm just doing is getting her forward on the backdrop so that I have a clean line behind her. All right, Mr. Cloud. And I know I can like get rid of that cardboard later, so I'm not really worried about that. I just want to get the weight distributed so we don't dump our clouds. And the umbrella might hit them too, which is fine. Need more weight in the back. It's all part of the fun of sessions is you kind of just play around and see what works. All right, I think we got it pretty good. Okay, and I'm gonna have this down just a little bit. I have too much weight on my, I think so. I'm gonna take some of that weight off. There we go. And I'm gonna see if I can go up a little bit more. There goes my cloud again. All right. I love giving you real videos, real life as it happens. This is how sessions go, and it's all good. Ooh, I like how that's hanging down. I think I'm just going to leave it and then deal with the cardboard part later. Get this little piece up. Maybe I'll add this. Hopefully, I'm going to have you bring that down just a little bit so we're not bumping. There we go. It's like, what will tip the scales? Okay, that's perfect. I'm going to go up just a tad, sweetie. So that, because there's that tippy on the umbrella. But I'm just going to have the umbrella.
Like right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So now,
Yeah, how do you,
just like that. Perfect. And this hand, I'm going to have you put the hand, and then bring that just like that.
Okay.
Perfect.
Kind of a shorter finger. It's okay.
It's all good. All right. Perfect. All right, I'm going to, and as much as you can get things right in camera, the better. Okay, lift your feet, one foot up and then the other. Okay, perfect. Little wrinkles I can get out later. But like kind of right there is perfect. I don't want the spine in front of your face, but I want it beside it. So let me, that's perfect. All right. Now right now I'm at 100, F33.2 and 200. All right. And another wise. And then too, it's always a good idea when you're shooting is to get an image of the background without the subject in it, just in case you need to add it in post later. You know, sometimes we just need to kind of add more background, and it's nice to have just like a clean background with the same lighting as before. And if you're doing any elements that you're going to add later in post, in Photoshop, collage, whatever, you want to photograph those in the same lighting as well, so that you can put them in post, and you want the same shutter speed and f-stop and everything, so that it all kind of matches. So I think we got this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and just going to keep watching and I'll show you how I edit it. Here we go. This is going to be very interesting. This is going to be an experiment in the making, so you're going to have to bear with me as we're going to go through this together. My idea is to take this middle image, which I like, from her neck down, and we're going to take this other image from the neck up, and we're going to combine those two on this background. So this background here on the left, I actually took a photo of the background she's standing on in the same light kind of before I set anything up. And I just kind of prepared that, changed the color of the floor, and I'll kind of go through how I change colors in a little bit later. But this is going to be the base that we're going to build this on. So I could probably build it on this one as well. But I am going to try this one. If I can't extract her very well, I might just go to plan B and do it on the middle one itself. So what I'm going to try to do is, I always like to try to kind of start with the quick selection tool that's included in Photoshop. And so I'm going to select subject, and it usually does a fairly good job right away. With the poofy clouds, I don't know what we're going to get. And I do have an outdated Photoshop because I have an outdated computer that is too old to update. So, I always do what I can. All right, so I'm just going to add these clouds in. Sometimes you have to go in and it's better to select more than not enough, because if you select more, like this is gonna select all this, which is fine because then I'll mask it out later. But this little poof in the back is similar tone to the background, so it's really kind of difficult for that to see. So I'm gonna go up to the upper left. I'm gonna take the minus button, and I'm just gonna take away the umbrella, since I'm not gonna be using that. Yeah, not to mention my computer's a little bit slow. So Don't you just love when you get the lovely spinning rainbow? All right, I don't know what it's doing. We'll just hang out and watch. Now, when I'm styling a session, I realize that sometimes like color tones don't match. Like there's a little bit too much yellow in the umbrella and her skirt dress, and her definitely her boots. I couldn't find a pair of rain boots that matched the beige color. So I go in later and kind of tweak colors. I don't know why that's doing that. And kind of tweak colors later. So I'm not always so concerned that colors match perfectly. All right, I'm just trying to get rid of these little marching ants. Now her head will be in this, and that's fine. I'm just going to get rid of it later. All right. And I'm gonna add this to it. Oh, that's gonna just grab all that, which is fine. Okay, so I'm going to Command J, get that on a separate layer. All right, and then I'm going to pull that over to the other one. Oops. Have to hit V for the move tool. Just gonna make this look bigger. Now we are gonna perfect things later, so we're not being concerned that everything is gonna be perfect. All right. Now I'm gonna go over to this one. This one I'm going to just make smaller and kind of put over in here in case we need to go over there. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Select subject. So we are we're going to do minus. Let me get a bigger brush because I'm going to get rid of all this. Oh, I got rid of everything. All right. Sometimes a smaller brush helps not grab everything. Alright, oh my goodness, this is going to go so slow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just select everything and erase it. Okay, so I want to make sure I have enough of the umbrella or the cloud. Okay, so Command J. And get the V brush, or hit the V for the move tool. Bring it over here. All right, so now I'm going to get this one out of the way. I'm just going to work on this one. So maybe it's good that I have the body in this one. That way I can kind of make sure I have her the right size. Looks like twins. I can kind of line that up a little bit. I'm not. Make sure her shoulders. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is in the layers palette, I'm going to click this and make a layer mask. And hit the B for brush, and I want a black brush. Right now I've got the white selected, so I hit the X and it just swaps whatever two colors are in there. Get 100%. Okay. The reason why I like the bottom one better, the first image, I like how her hands are on the umbrella. So now it's just a matter of lining things up. All right, so I feel like this needs to be turned just a tad to line up. there. Okay, so we're gonna get the brush, make that small. Yep, I'm working on the right layer. Okay. Right, so you always have to find a good spot to, like her neckline may be a good spot to make that transition. The smaller the brush, we can also go in with a hard brush and kind of, we're just trying to make that transition. All right. There's like a spot. Yeah. The more you toggle, you can kind of see what you need to capture yet, what you need to erase. So you can see here on her shoulder that this spot here, we'll fix that. All right. Well, your whole thing is crooked, but I'm just wanting to get. All right, so now I'm going to grab both of those, put those in a group, subject. So I'm going to twist a little bit, get her straight. I think I want her small and a little bit more kind of around her. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some levels on this layer, kind of bring it up a little bit, kind of match. Now the edges I'm not worried about. I'm going to go in and mask out edges. Okay, now we're going to go in this one, do levels, and that one looks pretty good actually. Okay, now the top and bottom match quite a bit better. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a mask on both of those layers together, and then we're going to just kind of work on edges. So I want these clouds poofy around the edges. We're going to get rid of some of the strings and perfect some of those edges up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to brush, black brush, and I'm going to start at about 20% soft brush, and I'm just going to kind of work. Actually, I'm going to go up to 40. This is going to take me all day. All right. When I get close to her dress, I'm going to get a little bit of a, I'm actually going to go up to 80, I think. I'm going to get a harder brush, harder edge brush. But for now, for the clouds and stuff, I want a soft brush. I'm going to end up being at 100, around there. Okay, so I want soft edges. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, just to kind of show you, I'm going to get a hard brush. I'm going to go at 100. I'm going to create those little edges. Sometimes you can just make up edges too, like when it's something like this, you can just make your little edges up. All right, so we're gonna go bigger, and then we're just gonna clean this up. Go down, we're gonna, same thing with your arm. When we get to by the clouds, we want a soft edge, so I don't want to do any hard edges there. And we're gonna do soft edges here on those edges as well. Again, so I'm just gonna kind of get some of these hard edge lines. It's just a matter of getting there and fine-tuning things. It's probably all fine. All right. Okay, we're gonna get through the top in a bit. So I'm gonna go back to a soft brush. Probably at about 60. I'm just gonna kind of get in there, and you can kind of change opacities, and the fastest way to change opacity is just go up to your number keys and just tap on a number. So if I want it at 40, I just hit the 4. You don't have to go up into here and fiddle with that. Just with your hand you're not working with, just go grab a number. All right, so I'm just kind of making the clouds a little bit softer on the edge. I'm going to do that same thing here. Okay. Kind of makes it look more transparent, which I don't want. So I'm just gonna, I might have to fine tune it later. It might be a matter of just lightening it up. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna get that. I'll clone out the dark thing that it's sitting on. I ran out of the white one, so I had to, if you watched my making of the video, you'll see how I made these. So I want this kind of transparent. We're gonna have to refine the edge of that umbrella too. All right. I've got the stamp tool here. Clone, stamp, whatever you want to call it. All right. Now I have to be on the top. Nope, that's the bottom layer. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I need to dig in there and figure that out. Okay, so I'm gonna work on the top here. I'll get those strings out last. I'm going to refine the edge of the umbrella up here. So we want black, and we want more of a harder brush because we're refining an edge. And your brush, like the softness and hardness, you want it to kind of match with whatever it is that you're doing. So if it's out of focus, you want a little bit softer, and if it's super hard, then you want like a harder brush. This is kind of in the middle. We're going to fill that area in. These, I think I'm going to leave this. I kind of erased away. So I'm going to go back in here with a white brush. I'm going to go in. Sometimes I can't find my, there we go. I'm going to bring that back. There we go. Just don't want any hard edges around those. Now this is just going to be a basic edit, and then I always go in later and really do some fine tuning. I mean, if I were doing this for a print comp or something, I'd be in here for hours just doing lots of fine tune work. All right. So here on this, I want to take the stamp tool, and I think I'm going to go here. Kind of fill that in there. Sometimes I do my cloning after the fact. I'm going to go in here, a small, looks like I have kind of a hard brush. I want to get this where the selection tool did not get. That looks like the umbrella. I'll leave that. I'm going to fix this area behind her head later when I kind of flatten it. All right. What I'm going to do is okay, that is the edge of this one, I bet. Okay. So this, paint with black and get rid of that line. Sometimes it's hard to know where you're at and what layer you're on and all that stuff. So I'm B, I want a brush, black brush. Where'd you go? When you're on gray, sometimes it's really hard. There we go. It's hard to see your little cursor circle. All right. All right, so we're gonna go in here. I've got my, go up on the right in the tools, I've got my spot healing brush. I don't have a remove tool because my system is so old, so I'm just going to use this right now for some of these strings. Sometimes I prefer to really go in and do this a patch tool or something, and I kind of refine it. This is a good starting point. This is a string here. Definitely got one here. All right, I think that's it for the strings. I am going to use my stamp tool. And remove this hair that's just kind of coming out of the side. Kind of want that a clean line. Remove that. Okay, so I'm going to refine her a little bit more, but what I want to show you is doing the shadows. So on the bottom layer or under the layer of her layer, you're going to want shadows. So I'm going to make a blank layer and then hit the B for the brush. I want black. So since there's no black over here, I'm just going to do that, and I want to do it at 10%. So I'm going to hit the 1 and I've got 10%. And so then I'm going to start with, make sure I have a soft brush, kind of a larger soft brush. And the light's coming from this side, from the left, so you want to make your shadows from the left to the right. So you just kind of build some shadows. Now the closer she is to the wall, the more shadow there will be on the wall. I really kind of don't want her super close. So then I'm at 10%. So then you just kind of build up, and then this is on a separate layer, so you can adjust later the opacity and stuff. So I went a little bit in front of her, and the closer it is to the floor, the darker it's going to be, or the walls or whatever. So there's like different levels of shadow. So I think that looks pretty good. You can kind of see before and after shadow. That actually helped fix this part of the dress that was like being weird. See how you can see that, and now it kind of just disappeared into the shadow, which I really like. I'm going to go back into here, my black brush, 20%, and kind of just work on these clouds. They're a little bit too white. That one is, I don't mind a little bit of white. So I had put a light under the, well, you saw, if you saw the video, underneath, so it's kind of coming through there. So I'm going to fix that on the umbrella. So I'm going to get my stamp tool, and I'm just going to, probably at 40%. I like to just kind of build it. I don't want to just go in at 100 and just kind of helped. And I think there are some wrinkles on there, so I'm just going to get my patch tool, just remove some of these wrinkles. So just bring it up to a spot that has the same textures you want it. I'm just going to, wrinkle removers. I wish it was this easy for my face. I always tell people if I could do in real life what we can do in Photoshop and now Evoto, I'd be so rich. All right. One more wrinkle here. I'm not doing a perfect job on this because it would take me hours and hours to get this to a point where I was super, super happy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as a layered file so I can go back in. So I'm going to do layer. And then I'm going to actually flatten the subject and the, and I'm going to go up here and with my dodge tool, what's it at 30, about 30. I'm just going to lighten up the top of the umbrella a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to work on some of those color tones. So what I'm going to do, I basically just want to get rid of the yellow. So I'm going to create another layer. So Command J. So then I have another layer. I am going to, I'm going to get rid of, I'm just going to take off the, see, 100%. It also duplicated the shadow, which I didn't want because I kind of like the shadow the way it is. Oh, there's some, actually, I'm not going to do that. I am going to, because I think there's some opacity in here. All right, so I'm going to go in and
Actually, yeah, I do want to do that. I'm just going to flatten. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Command, Control, Shift, E. Command, let's see here. Command Option, I'm sorry, Command Option Shift, E. And that's going to make another layer on the top of what I have underneath of it. So if you're a PC, you're going to have to translate. Command Option Shift E takes all the layers underneath, puts them into one layer on top, so you still have your layers underneath. Okay, so now we're going to make an extra layer, and that way we can mask down to this second new layer. And I'm going to hit the U, Command U, and that's going to bring up my hue saturation. I'm going to go in because I want to get rid of some of those yellows. And I do it on another layer because it'll probably get rid of yellows in her skin that I don't want. Actually, her skin has more red in it. You can always slide it all the way up and see where the yellows are. I don't know if I want any of those yellows. I kind of want this more of a monotone, so I'm going to leave it right there. Me likey. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the boots. So I'm just going to go in, marquee the boots, Command J, and then that way I'm just working on those pixels. So what I want to do is, I think I'm going to work on, let me try levels first. So what I want them lighter. Midtones lighter. I'm going to show you how I'm going to color them later. Okay, so right there, that's what I want. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is use a layer mask, and if you have a white mask, you can paint with black around the outside edges. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this the layer mask black, Command I, and then I'm going to paint just in the boots. So sometimes it depends. It looks like I have some floor cleanup to do. So I'm going to go in with the brush, make it small. I'm going to make it a little bit harder because the edges are not super hard. And then I want it at 100%. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, I'm going to paint with white. So we're going to hit the X key. So we're going to paint with white. And this is tedious as well because of the edges, but we're gonna, sometimes this is gonna be a pain. Okay, I don't care that I'm going up a little higher because I'm going to mask back. And when you kind of see this, you can see why it takes hours to do. Oh, I know what I should have done. You know what? I'm going to redo that. Show you the real way to do it. Go here, select subject. Command J. All right, and then I'm going to do the levels. So I'm going to Command Option L, and that's just going to redo what I just did. All right, all right, all right. So now we're going to put the mask. Change it black. And then we don't have to worry about the ground or the background around it because it's pretty much selected. I don't know what I was thinking or what I wasn't thinking. All right, we're gonna fine tune up there. I love the select subject tool. That has just been a godsend. I'm gonna hit the X, I want the black, and then I'm gonna go in here and just kind of nip those. It has just made editing so much easier. obviously when I remember to do that. I'm gonna go on the edge here. Okay, so now I want her boots to have a little bit of color in them, sort of to kind of match that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a blank layer. So I'm going to put here boot color. Okay, and then I'm going to go up here, and then I'm going to, in the mode, click color mode. It's way on the bottom. So I'm going to be painting in color mode, and then I'm going to hit the eye on my keyboard, and that's going to give me the eyedropper, so I can just pick a color that I like. So I am, let's see, have to be on down here. Maybe I have to be on this layer. Hang on, I'm making dots in there. I'm just gonna Command Z tag it. All right. I'm trying to get to a layer where I actually have. There we go. There we go. So now we can get the color I want. Eyedropper. My tools, sometimes my tools don't, when I click on them, they don't transfer. There we go. There's the eyedropper. Okay, so now I got the color I want. Turn all these babies back on. All right. So now I'm gonna clip this color into the boot layer so I don't have to worry about those backgrounds. So now I'm just clipped on this layer. And then I'm gonna hit the B for brush, because now I wanna be painting with that color I just selected. Oh my gosh, there we go. And so that's just gonna paint. And then once I paint it, I can fine tune it. So now I don't have to worry about the edges because I'm clipped it to that boot layer. I'm not liking the color, it's a little bit too kind of gross greenish yellow, but I'm gonna fine tune it. Alright, and then I'm going to put a little mask, paint with black right down the middle here where I got on that background. Just mask it off. Alright, so now I want to see the whole, I think it kind of turned kind of that weird color because of the grayness of it. So I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to hit U, because that's my hue saturation. So you can change the color in hue saturation. So we can just kind of play around with it. Lightness, I think I want it lighter. That might be the trick. Saturation, you can play with saturation. So once you get that color in there, it's not necessarily what you have to have. So I want it a little bit less pinky. Let's see, lightness, I think I want it right, there we go. Okay, I'm going to toggle this back on now so you can see the boots. So I'm going to put this together with that layer. We're going to put boots. Boots, all right. So you can see how that changed those boots. Right, that color went off. There we go. So I wanted the lighter boots. All right. Okay, so what I want to do is I have to work on this floor. I'm just going to get my patch tool. I'm going to get down on the background layer. Maybe that's not on the background. It's probably on this layer. There we go, because we, oops. No, I'm not trying to select pixel, I'm trying to turn on my layer. There we go. Yes, it's no fun when you have a dirty floor. You have to fix it. All right. So I'm going to get my stamp tool, and we're just going to kind of create more of this line here. I'm at 40%. I need to be at hundo. It's not doing what I wanted to do. There we go. And I'm going to, you have to be careful when you clone. It can clone pixels or clone textures and stuff. And that's no bueno. Alright. So I think what I want to do now is I'm going to save this as a number 2. It's important to kind of save as you go. So you can always go back. Okay. So I'm going to flatten it after it's saving. I kind of want to get rid of some of that yellow yet. So I'm going to go here in the yellows. Okay, my video randomly stopped recording. I think I need a new computer. I think I'm running out of application memory or RAM or whatever it is. So anyway, I'm gonna hopefully kind of keep going here. So what I want to do now, I think, is I saved it as a second copy. I'm gonna flatten it. And so my idea here is to, oh here, let me kind of finish up some of those little details. I'm going to, I always like to work on a separate layer when I'm cloning or doing anything like that. So what I want to do is add this little bit here. So I'm going to hit the S for stamp, and the bracket keys make it go up and down. I'm going to start right about here, like right there. I want a smaller brush. I can get in the hair like that. There we go. All right. And I want to cover up her eyes. I don't want any eyes showing. So I'm going to Command Shift X. That's going to bring it into Liquify. And I'm not going to care that that is melting because I'm going to mask it back. But if you don't want something to melt, you just go here, that little, the freeze, it's a freeze tool, and you can just freeze whatever you don't want to move. But sometimes you still have to go back in and kind of mask. So that's why I always do this on a separate layer. All right, so now I'm going to move that down. And then I'll probably at the end go through the whole umbrella and just kind of smush things around too, but for now. And then I'm going to mask with a black brush, fairly sharp brush, not necessarily a soft brush, just because we're working with edges. Alright. You kind of see that took away those eyes. Alright. Flatten. I'm going to save this as a JPEG. Go get rid of that one. Save. Get rid of that one. Don't save. Okay, so now my idea with this one is to kind of make it darker and moodier and have that light under her really kind of highlight her. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, put a solid color. I'm just playing here. I have no clue what I want to do. I lie, I don't know what I want to do. So I'm going to do that. So let's check our modes, see if there's like a mode that we like. Ooh, that's kind of cool, multiply mode. Sometimes you fly through these modes and you find stuff that's really kind of cool that you never knew about. Okay, hard light, soft light. Let's see what soft light looks like if we change the opacity of that. Now it doesn't really do much. So I kind of like to multiply because I want it to look kind of like a gray day. So I think I'm going to put it right about there. And then we've got the mask. And so what I want to do is I think I want a soft brush. Yeah, let's try 40%. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing here. So you guys kind of get to play with me. This is going to sort of be like a dodge and burn almost. Where it's kind of illuminating her shoulder. Now, this might have been a good idea to select her, because then we don't have to worry about the background. In fact, what you can still do, let's say we've done that, we can always go back to the background layer, select subject, all right, we're going to add, let's add Mr. Cloud in there, at least some of it, the top of it. Okay, Command J. Okay, now we can take that layer. That didn't work. What the heck? Okay. Forget doing that. All right, so we're going to continue to, I'm just going to, oops, I have my select. I need my brush back. Okay, so we're doing our brush. Give it a little bit her ear. I want her shoulder highlighted. Now I can, maybe this cloud here, highlight the top of that cloud. Highlight the top of that cloud. Now I'm going to hit the X key to get my black brush. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There it is. And then I'm going to at 100% because I'm just masking away what I did here. It's disappearing in the gray. There we go. Because I don't want the background illuminated, just wanted her shoulder. Kind of like that. And then you can take this and just, I'm at 34% and I can make it lighter or I can make it darker. I kind of like it right about there. Because I'll probably do a dodge and burn layer too. Okay. I'm going to save this as 3. Flatten. And then I'm going to do dodge and burn. So I have a action I wrote for dodge and burn. Basically it's a 50% gray layer. And then that way all I have to do and I like to dodge and burn with a black and white layer over it, because that way I can see better. Colors sort of will kind of play with our eyes a little bit, trick our eyes. So I like to have just that black and white layer. I don't do anything with it. It just sits there, and then I delete it later. But I'm working on this middle layer. So you want to paint white to dodge and paint black to burn. And I always do that at 10%. So I'm going to get my black and white. So I'm going to start with dodge. So, but you hit the B, and that's for brush. You want to brush, soft brush. Let's make sure we got, yep. And hit the 1. So up here on the opacity, hit the 1, it's going to be 10%. So what I'm going to do is just kind of hit some highlights in her skirt. Kind of where maybe that light might hit. And then maybe some of these clouds again. Maybe hit her bow a little bit. I hit her cheek. I'm gonna kind of bring her cheek out a little bit more. Kind of illuminate under there a little bit more. All right. Kind of give her, sometimes when you just kind of give a little highlight, it kind of almost makes their skin glow a little bit. Okay. So dark, I'm going to just kind of hit some of these shadows in here. You can always change the opacity of the layer if it's too dark, too much. All right, so I'm just going to toggle back on and back and forth and kind of see. And then if you turn the black and white layer off, you can kind of see. I might have done a little bit too much on the skirt. Okay, so what I'm going to do is do a layer mask. Black brush, X. I'm going to do it about 20% off of the skirt. Just a little bit. So it's not so much. There we go. All right. I'm going to flatten that. And I think what I'm going to do is Command J. Go into liquify. And I think I might just kind of play with some of these clouds a little bit, fluff them up a little bit. The nice thing about clouds is that they are not perfect. And so you have a lot of leeway when doing that. Maybe make it fluffy, kind of make it go out a little bit. I could go in and just kind of bring her skirt out a little bit. Since it is kind of whimsical, I think I'll leave that. Now the only other thing I'm seeing is that I'm feeling like her face is a little bit too saturated. So I'm going to hit the L key, kind of lasso that. I'm going to Command J, so that's on another layer. Command U, and I'm going to go into the red channel because I think her face, see that you can see all the reds in her face. I'm just going to bring that down. There we go. That makes me feel so much better. Yeah, it was just too much. All right, so flatten. And I think for now, that's where I'm gonna stay. I will probably play with textures and maybe some color toning and stuff as well. But for now, there's my Cloud9 image. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave comments and suggestions, anything, good jokes, good recipes, chocolate especially, and subscribe if you want to see more editing videos. Thanks a lot. Like, as if you weren't sick of me enough. But I played around with a little bit with an overlay, and I just kind of wanted to add that into this little edit, just so you can kind of see, you know, kind of what that did. So I do a lot of photographing of clouds and stuff while I'm out and about, you know, as long as I have my camera in my hand, because I like to use them in some of my photos. Like if I have a blown out sky or something, or need a sky, I always have different ones to go through. So here's one that I had taken quite a while ago, and I wanted to kind of play with it on this image. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to put it on it. All right, so then what you do is, and I'm going to play with the different modes. So I'm just going to filter down and see if there's one I like. So I like that already. That's multiply. Let's see, that's overlay. Overlay is kind of cool. Soft light's kind of cool, because it kind of makes her look like she's in the clouds. Soft light, or soft light's cool. And what was the other one? Darken, multiply. So then what I'm going to do is play with levels and see what how that changes, because I want a little bit more contrast. Don't want to lose it. Let's go down here to soft light. I think I might like that one. There we go. And where you can see where the cloud was lighter over here on my overlay, it's kind of right where her face is. So that's kind of cool, because it kind of highlights that area that I wanted to highlight. Then you can go in here let's go in with a burn tool and just kind of burn some of that darker. Maybe we're down on the floor. Maybe where that cloud is, on her chest. Maybe I'll darken a little bit on her chest so that it's kind of interesting, because it just happened that the clouds that I created kind of go in with the clouds there. So actually, I think I like that. So there you go, a little extra.